Welcome and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining our live streaming. My name is Ali, and tonight we have the lovely Lesley joining us.
Hi.
So thank you for joining us again this evening. Firstly, we'd like to apologise for a few technical hiccups we've been having
In regards to the sound.
Yes, so please bear with us, and we apologise. It's been a hilarious running thing, just every unforeseen
But we're just learning ourselves about how to do all this and go about it.
So thank you for joining us again, and we will get this sorted. Yeah. So Lesley, this evening we're going to be talking about some wonderful topics.
Yes, yeah.
What are you going to be sharing with us all tonight?
Okay, we're going to be covering food. We're going to be covering organic food, mass-produced food. We're going to be also covering worm farming, composting, cooking utensils, actual foods to eat, foods to avoid, the best things to drink for the body and what not to drink for the body. We'll be covering meat as well. Then we'll also be covering detoxing of the body as well as medicinal herbs. Medicinal herbs as in medicinal plants. We've got a few here in the front that we'll be talking about tonight.
Oh, so you're going to be sharing a wealth of information with us.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. Sharing, sharing knowledge. That way it's helping each other to learn.
Right.
So we can grow.
Exactly. We don't always have to be, learning the hard lessons if somebody else has learned, ways that,
can help somebody along the way.
Yeah. It's coming together, isn't it, in real community, which is what we're about. Hence, we're starting a community online here with our online streaming. Great, so to kick us off, organic foods.
Obviously, the best way to provide your body with the best food is actually to grow it yourself organically. The reason being is because you know what has actually gone into the soil, and you also know what has gone into the plant as well, as in fertilizers, whether or not you have chosen to use natural pesticides, etc. So you're knowing what you're going to eat, basically. Now, to actually start off an organic veggie patch, the big thing here is about the soil. The pH level of the soil has to be a certain pH. It's got to be between 6 and 7 for your plants to actually grow at their optimum. So if the pH of your soil is, say, 7.5 to a 9, that there is too alkaline.
Right. Okay, so that our plants don't grow effectively in an alkaline?
No, they don't.
It's just they won't if it's too acidic?
Yeah,
on the other side. So it's just finding that middle ground?
Yeah, that's right. And so when you do a pH testing, you can buy those kits from Bunnings, you can probably even buy them online. It's actually got a colour chart as to where it will be on the actual pH level. So a 6 to a 7 are in the greens, whereas like a 7.5 to 9, you're slowly going into the purple colours. Whereas like the more acid soils, you're looking at yellows and oranges. So it just depends on when you do your test as to what you'll need to do with the soil. So to actually bring the soil up, because your soil might be acidic, what you need to do is add potash to the actual soil, and there's other nutrients that you can actually add to the soil as well to bring it up. Whereas if it's the other way, if your soil is too alkaline, you'll need to bring it back down. Now, to actually do that, you can use sulfur, or which can be done over a period of a few months. You can actually do it a quicker way, which is using, I think it's called iron sulfate. That can be brought back into line. So your pH will be brought back into line within a month, but what's going to happen there is that's a pretty harsh chemical to use, and that's so you really wouldn't want to rush your soil to get that pH, because then that's going to go into plant, you know what I mean? So
yeah, that residue of
that chemical. Yeah, and that, so to do it more naturally, it's just sulfur, and that takes a few months to readjust the soil.
Yes.
And that's so before you even decide to start planting into that soil, even like after you've done your pH adjustments and that kind of thing, always test the soil again to make sure it's right. Because otherwise, I think I start to use the frustration. Trying to grow plants that were like, in the wrong pH soils. Basically.
Yeah. And how inefficient was that at times?
Oh yeah. And like it's frustrating for you and as well, because you have certain expectations and wants. Oh gee, I want that to go really well, and then it does, and it's like, oh no.
Because we all love the sound and the concept of growing our own gardens and things like that. But the reality is, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
And there's so many unseen scenarios that can come up.
Yeah.
So having a bit of knowledge and finding places to find this information out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that is very, very important. Now, there's a couple of different ways that are really good for growing your veggies, and that's in raised garden beds, because it's actually above the soil, because in today's society, because so much chemical has been actually used on the soils, including Roundup. There's been other aerial spraying and that kind of thing that's happened over time. That all affects the soil, and that's so a raised garden bed is ideal to start your veggie patch, and also a no-dig garden as well, because you're actually not digging into what could already be in effect in that soil. So that's why I would suggest those two things.
So having a raised garden bed and getting some specific soil from, you'd have to get in a specific topsoil. For that to actually happen. And again, before you go planting into it, just always pH test the soil. Very important to do that. So how you can construct a no-dig garden is you actually put cardboard just on top of the ground, like that's your first layer, and then on top of that, then you can put your newspapers. Then on top of that, you can put like a loosened hay, or you can even put like a baby hay on top of that newspaper. Then you can put like your organic composting, or like a topsoil and then organic composting. And then on top of that, you can just have like just an old hay. It does, like, how do you say, it's near the end of its life, basically. Broken down considerably.
Just right at the very top. And then, and then of course, obviously the pH test the compost and the topsoil before doing all that too. Make sure it's right. And and then of course then you can start planting them when the seedlings get to a certain height.
Right. So seedlings, and then okay, we've got our raised gardens. We've tested the pH levels. And while we're all that in the process, you can start thinking about your seeds and where you're going to source seeds and what kind of seeds are going to be beneficial.
That's right.
What some seeds that you would say be more beneficial than others, and why is it important to really source them out?
Obviously, your old traditional heirloom seeds are the best of all, because when you plant that plant and it comes to fruitation, and then it comes to seed, you can then seed sow those seeds. That's really, really important. And then you can actually do that whole process again. Plant seed, let it come to fruitation, and let it seed, and then store the seeds. The mass-produced seeds that are out today, they actually won't do that. You can only plant them in once, and then what happens then is they'll come to fruitation. They may seed, but that seed will be no good. You cannot use that seed ever again.
Right, so that doesn't really sound in line with nature.
It's not.
So like, this seems like something's changed in the coding or the design. So you're saying potentially those mass-produced ones have been modified in some way?
Yes, they have been. Yeah, they've been modified, and because they've been modified, an aspect of that plant has been taken out. So the healing aspect of that particular carrot or that particular cucumber has been taken out of that fruit. So therefore,
you're not getting
the nutrients that you should actually be getting. And
it's just not running in line with natural universal laws. So sourcing our heirloom seeds.
Yeah, okay. To source out heirloom seeds, you can go to, well, here in Australia, there's quite a few different places where you can go. There is one in particular, and I'll use this one because it's closer to home. Just walk it in closer so you can actually see it. Oh, it's backwards. Of course. So it's actually Maloney Green Harvest, that's what it's called. Okay. Yeah, and so you can buy your old traditional heirloom seeds from there. Yeah, so they come in a little yellow packet. They're organic, they're Australian organic certified seeds. Yeah, I've had some really good, germination rates with this seed. Another company that you can actually buy from is Eden Seeds. Now, I've had mixed germination rates with that seed, and I've actually heard other people say the same thing. So I'm not sure exactly how organic and true they are, that particular company, but
yeah, I've heard others say that use them and they're quite happy. So,
yeah.
It just depends on
practice. Maybe even how old the actual seed is too, because sometimes if it's gone past a certain date, if it's gone past a certain date, like the germination rate of that seed becomes less and less too. You can also get the traditional heirloom seeds from permaculture clubs as well, and they do a lot of seed saving. There's lots of local ones in different areas within Australia. I'm not sure what they're in the countries, but
so that'd be something we could source out or we run in the local area, wherever that may be.
Yeah.
Or in your district or vicinity.
Yeah, that's right. The mass-produced seeds, where you'll find those, and I'll just let you know so you can actually avoid buying them. So you can easily get them from places like Big W, Coles, Woolworths, Stores, which is your local produce shops, which, they can be sourced there. Mitre 10. I think Mitre 10 is another place. Bunnings is another producing as well.
So raising the seeds then, there's some more ways to go about it that's more successful than others, like to get that strike rate.
Okay, well, how I raise seeds is actually, it just depends. You can use many different ways to raise seeds. I prefer to use egg cartons, just recycle old egg cartons and use them. I put like a seed raising mix in those in the egg cartons, and then put the seed in the egg cartons, and then just raise them to a certain height. So maybe to about there, and then leave the plant out. During winter months, you can actually use heating mats as well. That can actually raise the seed faster, so you can get them into the ground just before spring. So maybe, just as spring as sort of happening sort of thing. So you can do that as well.
A bit of a jump start.
Yeah.
Without affecting the natural life. Great. So we've made a garden bed, got a pH level ready, we've sourced our seeds, we've planted them in.
Yeah.
So, great. Yeah. Where can we go to? Do we just leave it to its own device, or how do we go about it from there?
That'd be nice to leave it to its own device. I'll tell you what, that'd be a lot less work. That is for sure.
Yeah.
They require a lot of attention. And a lot of love too, actually, when you're going about dealing with plants. Always say hello to them too, like they respond to that as well. And because if you don't talk to them much, they grow a bit differently. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about worm farming. We've got this little one here that I can show you. That's the one that I have at home. So in the bottom layer, you actually don't put the worms in that section there. You just leave that for the juice, because you've got the tap at the front for the juice. The next two layers there, you actually need to buy cocoa peat. With the cocoa peat blocks, you actually need to put that into buckets of water, and that will, it'll expand it, and it becomes very soft, and so that actually becomes their home. And then you go and source your worms from worm farms. Always go to a worm farm that's accredited, sort of thing, that know what they're doing. Honestly, like if you go cheap with any of this, like you would buy 10 bums. So
you're already going so much effort. Putting so much heart into it.
That's right. You get your cocoa peat, you put it in those two layers there. You get your worms, you put them into those two layers there. At the very top, that's where you actually put your food scraps, is in the top. And so the worms will come up even from the bottom tray. They'll come through the little holes, and they'll make their way to the very top to source the food. So you put the food scraps on top, and then you have like a Hessian bag on top of that. That's actually just to keep the worms in, so they know that, hey, they're not going to go any further than food.
So you wouldn't put some kind of food scraps in there, would you? You wouldn't put meats or things like that?
There are certain types of food scraps that you actually don't put in there, because you actually don't like it.
And that
at all. Just a base there. Like the system
and the whole environment. So it's quite sensitive. So you've got the worms, you've got to keep them alive.
That is right. But you don't want to feed them too much either, because what will happen then is the food will sit at the top, it'll go off. And that's what you don't want either, because then
you're getting all those molds and those toxins that are...
Yeah, that's right. And
which is very...
it's not healthy for the worms.
And not healthy for us. And if we're using fluids that are coming from the worms to put on our plants, it's very important that stays you know, has some integrity too, isn't it?
Yeah, that is all healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about once a week or once every, week and a half, you actually open up the little tap down the bottom and you put a bottle underneath that and you collect your veggies. And then from there, you actually dilute that further with water, and then you can actually spray it over the foliage and that kind of thing of your veggies and your fruits and herbs and that kind of thing.
The leaves are absorbing all of those nutrients. It's great.
Yeah. Or what you can do is just use a watering can. And just again, just go over the foliage and also the root system as well. Give them a good water.
What kind of ratio would you have your worm juice to water? Would you say?
Probably put, say, in a watering can, I'll probably put about that much of the actual worm juice to a water can.
Yeah, so it is quite diluted.
Yeah.
Because it is very strong.
Yeah. And you would actually want to fertilise them in that way, probably once every 2 weeks. Maybe even.
So every fresh batch you kind of
Yeah,
get?
pretty much, yeah.
Just
put it on your veggies and herbs and fruits, so that's that way. There are
some other natural fertilisers then that we could perhaps use.
Absolutely. What you can do is you can get an old bucket that's probably a good 20 litre, maybe a 30 litre bucket that you can buy. In that you just you fill it with water pretty much, and then you start putting your food scraps into it. You actually let that sit for a few days and then stir it every few days. And over time, what actually happens is that breaks down into the water, and it becomes like an actual fertilizer. And you can actually, again,
use that in quite a quick time, really, like a few days to make that.
How long? I'd probably do that process maybe for 2 weeks, and then use it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're stirring it every 2 or 3 days.
Got you.
And so you're letting it break down over time. And then, in a couple of weeks' time, that's when you actually start using it on your veggies and your herbs. And again, you need to dilute that as well.
Because if we didn't dilute it, it's too strong for our plants.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and then they could suffer, perhaps even not make it.
Yeah, that's right. Another thing that you can use too is mango scraps. They are beautiful to actually, again, put it into a bucket with water with the mango scraps. And what happens I have found with mango scraps, it changes the flavour of the food to mango, and it is delicious.
Hey.
Excellent idea. So if you're a real mango lover, do that.
Mango flavored beans. Cool. Right. That's another thing like composting. Okay. Could be another way of feeding our garden.
Yeah, absolutely. So how to make a compost bin is you obviously need to buy the bin, of course, and then you add to it food scraps, you add lawn clippings. You be careful with weeds and that kind of thing. That's not really what you want to be adding to your compost.
No.
Yeah, you can also add like different foods like a little bit of chook food, horse food, cow food, that kind of thing. But chook food you wouldn't go too hard on because that actually burns.
Yeah, that's quite strong.
Yeah.
Because it's keeping the composting balance is a task in itself, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Like it's not. There is some challenges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeping the compost.
Yeah.
And getting my culling even, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And like you've got to be sort of committed to it too, because you need to spin it every so often as well.
Yeah,
So it's mixing.
Turning over so it can break, help it break down rather than just sitting stagnant.
Yeah,
Such.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the air and movement.
Yeah, and it gets that those little insects and life into it. Yeah, it's all good. And then again, test the pH even of that as well before you go and put it on the veg patch as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I love it.
What about some tips for gardening?
Okay, yeah, spiritual tip. Let me see. So when you actually go out to your veggie patch and you want to take like a little bit of herbs or you want to take some maybe a few leaves of lettuce or Mizuna or something like that, what you need to do is before you actually cut into the plant is say thank you. Thank you to the plant. Give the plant appreciation of what it's done for you, basically, because it's feeding you. And that
honour its purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing is to, like, once you have actually cut the plant, use that section that you have cut as soon as possible, because the longer that it actually sits on your kitchen bench or gets put into a fridge, that kind of thing, the vibration and life force of that actual healing aspect of the plant just deteriorates, it becomes less. So the idea is to use it ASAP, basically, and that goes for medicinal plants as well. It's actually to be used straight away after you cut the plant. You make up the formulation straight away to use it, because then you're getting the 100% healing aspects of that medicinal plant. Okay. Whereas, like, if you're taking the section of that plant and then you're putting it into a bottle with other mixes and stuff like that, that takes away the healing aspects of the plant. So how do you say, there's still healing aspects in the plant, but it becomes less because it's been mixed and because the longer it sits on a shelf or that kind of thing.
It's losing its vitality in a sense, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's right.
It's just depleting in energy.
Well, it's depleting its medicinal purposes, and that was the main thing that you needed it for.
That's why you're going to you source out these particular things for them. The usefulness. Great.
Yeah, and so I think I wanted to go into seed saving at some stage as well, and
so what is seed saving?
Okay. Now, you'd only ever bother to seed save if you're using old traditional or heirloom plants. You wouldn't bother with mass-produced seed, because it's just not going to happen. Because if you do decide to seed save that seed, it'll never germinate anyway. So you're just wasting your time. So you only ever seed save with old traditional seed. And so basically you need to know your plant. You need to know your plant really well and its cycle, as in the fruits, how long it takes to seed, and that kind of thing. Like, it's surprising, carrots actually take you 2 years before it actually comes to seed. And so that's a long time to keep the little carrots alive just to get seed. And I was actually fortunate enough to persevere with that. What an experience. And just recently, I ended up being able to get a whole heap of seed from our old traditional heirloom seed carrots. So basically, these are them. Not sure whether you might be able to see them or not. You see, when you actually seed save, the seed itself must be taken on a really dry day, like dry, warm day.
Hot summer's days, say, or
it just depends. Yeah, because each plant has its season, and you've got to get to know your plants very well. And so, so yeah, when you take your seed, make sure it's not raining, it's not drizzling in any way, so the seeds aren't damp.
Okay, yeah, so the moisture in them, and
they've got to be dry. And then you actually place them on the plate or something that's a lid. And put it either in the pantry or somewhere safe near the kitchen. Dark place. You can do that too. Yeah, and just so that further dries out the seed even more before you actually go to store it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's got to have less than 5% moisture actually in the seed to store it. And once you actually store the seed, it'll only last for about 2 to 3 years, unless you actually put it in the fridge. By putting it in the fridge, it'll actually last longer. But if you're just putting it into like a dark storage place in your pantry and that kind of thing, about 2 to 3 years, that will actually last.
Because the fridge keeps things quite dry in a sense, even though it's cold.
Just as long as it's in a container. Yeah. And it's just that coldness that keeps the seed alive for a bit longer. Yeah. So, in coming years, like for those that have sort of planned ahead and are aware of the old traditional seeds and that kind of thing, there may be a crisis, a humanitarian crisis later on down the track that might take a lot of people by surprise. And hey, if you're not prepared and you don't have your old traditional seeds and that kind of thing, like it's going to make things very hard. Like, and that means to be doom and gloom, but it's good to prepare for. Well, different things.
It is, but even in the now, being able to use those seeds and growing the foods, but those higher quality foods.
Yeah, it's better for the body. Yeah, and
we enjoy it too. You feel better.
The taste of the plant too. It's a very different taste, like say cherry tomatoes or even tomatoes that you buy in the supermarkets today. They have a certain taste about them. Whereas if you taste a homegrown tomato, oh my God, the juice and
it's got flavour.
It's beautiful. Yeah, they got flavour.
And growing your own food is a good way to also market the things as well. Like, if you're got an influx of a crop that you've got,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
there's something else that you may need, or give, or share, or preserve them in some way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, great. And so then we've grown our lovely foods and that. So then it's very important what we do next with them.
When it comes to the
eating side of it.
The cooking of it and the preparation of your food and that kind of thing. What I use is these ones here. They're cast iron pots. They are actually the best ones to use for human food. Yeah, they're heavy. They are heavy. They do have some downfalls though, like they're very hard to clean. And you must always oil them once you've actually cleaned them, because otherwise they start rusting.
It's not what we want.
No. Another thing that they will do too is because your teeth are porous, it'll change the colour of your teeth slightly as well. And but in saying those negative things there, health-wise for the human body, these are actually the best things to use.
Yeah. So some other things maybe then we might be cooking in that we are unaware, like cooking pots, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about those, teflons and mass-produced kind of?
Yeah, like they've actually all been linked with brain diseases. So Alzheimer's, your dementias, nervous system, which is all brain related. Yeah, the use of those cooking utensils have been linked with those kinds of diseases. So that's why, yeah,
So
we're losing out the cast iron.
because as we cooking and heating, the chemicals
leaching into the actual pot.
food. Yeah. And then we eat it and absorb it, and our bodies become too full of metals and toxins. Changes our balance. This is what you're saying, and then changes our mental function.
Well, it affects the brain. Yeah, it affects the brain and the brain function, and so
it leads to those.
It leads to those diseases. Yeah, and so yeah. Another thing is, like, as Ali was saying, like, this one will leach as well, but this one actually leaches iron. Iron is what you actually need in your body. Like, you actually need a daily dose of iron anyway. So, and that will naturally provide it for you. Yeah, which is, another health aspect of the cast iron pots. Yeah.
And we give those other, be mindful of those other things and stuff you said with our teeth. And,
so that way if your teeth start coming up, slightly different colour.
Right, so we've chosen our cookware. Yep. Now, we've got some other great products here too, some different oils.
Okay. The oils that we use here at home is we use the extra olive oil for cooking, and we also use the coconut organic oil for cooking as well. If you ever want to change the flavour of your food dramatically, use the coconut oil.
It changes it dramatically, all right, doesn't it?
It does. I've even once I accidentally did it. Actually, I had some of the coconut oil in the pot, and I was steaming some vegetables, and the actual steam of the coconut oil went through the vegetables, and they tasted great.
Well, that's a good experience. I can tell you right now it wasn't so great. And I love coconut. We used to make our own when we lived on the islands, make our own coconut oil. But I have used coconut oil when I didn't have anything else, when I made a roast one time. And I could too much. I found it quite strong in there. And I wasn't used to that the first time I tried. I think it was roast lamb and vegetables. Yeah, I noticed it more particularly in meats. That it really absorbed the flavour, but it didn't quite sit with me. But with the veggies it was so much fun.
So other things that you can use olive oil for, and you can also use the coconut oil for, is if you've got dry skin. So if you're dry around the nose, dry on the face, your knees in particular. A lot of people get dry knees and elbows. It's great. Because it's natural moisturiser as well. So
coconut oil is so beneficial. Even having a spoonful a day is great for your immune system. It contains the same uric acid as in breast milk, so it boosts your immunity. Helps with brain function, gut balancing, your teeth again. So very versatile our kitchens can be.
Another thing that you can use the coconut organic oil for too is actually your natural skin sunscreen. But I know we're getting off the track here when I say this, but it was just on my mind.
Must be appropriate.
Hemp oil is great for a natural sunscreen as well. It's very good.
So it wouldn't be like you just use it once and expect to be protected. Your body would need to use it for a while for your body to create a film, or
how do you say,
really absorb the oil?
I've experienced using both the hemp oil and the coconut oil at different times. I found that while I was using it, I had to reapply after a certain period of time because, going to the beach and that kind of thing, in and out of water and
wiping with
towel. Yeah, you just need to reapply it to make sure that you have that protection. But both I found worked really quite effectively.
Yeah, versatile. And you've got some other little goodies there too.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so when you're cooking your meals, the best way to actually cook your meals is by slow cooking. That is the best for the digestive system because it's actually broken down before you even eat it, and therefore it makes your digestive system, it doesn't have to work as hard for your body to get the goodness. So that's what I'd mainly suggest people use slow cooking. When I slow cook a porridge will take me probably between an hour and a half every morning to make. But by the time you eat it, it's just so broken down and the taste is just so good. And it's really quite, filling as well. So,
isn't it?
And I find that I don't even have to eat again until about 10:30, So,
quite a few hours after.
And because it's already broken down, like the body really appreciates it too because it just doesn't have to work as hard.
Well, that's right. You can go into doing it.
It all helps the healing process.
Very much so. We need to use every little thing we can knowledge that we can.
And so, of course, a lot of, say, if I make a pie or something like that, the contents of the pie, they'll take me anywhere between 3 and 3.5 hours to actually make because I'll slow cook it. I might start around 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon and just slow cook it through the whole afternoon until it's ready to make it into a pie. And I know that you may be thinking, oh, dude, that's such a long time to cook food or whatever have you. The taste benefit too, because all the tastes have gone in and things are broken down and it's just so much nicer. And then the taste is really good.
And using that low heat.
Slow. That's right. You just put it on simmer and it's just really good. Another hint that I do have with the cast iron as well, but that's with using an open pan, like the real big dish, is to get different tastes. Now I know this might sound really quite gross. Don't wash your pan. From meal to meal, don't wash it. Keep the flavours. Keep the flavour there. If there's too much of the last flavour, before it sort of hardens on the surface, just give it a light wipe, but make sure that flavour still remains on the top of that surface. And that's so when you go to cook your next meal on top of it, it actually has flavours from the last meal. And that changes the flavour of your current meal. And honestly, I don't think I have cleaned our pan for probably at least 2.5 weeks easy. And just the flavours that we're getting is really good. It's all about flavour. That's right. And I haven't been sick. So
got to be happy with that.
Okay, so the salt I suggest people to use would be the Himalayan pink rock salt. I wouldn't suggest people using these table salts. They have added chemicals to the actual salts that have actually made them white in colour. So
more processes.
Natural.
So some real benefits of the Himalayan salt. It still contains a lot of minerals.
That's right. You can never overdose on it. You can put lots. You can actually never overdose on the salt. I know, like, according to your taste buds might not like too much salt. So, you know, use it accordingly, you know, and that kind of thing. But
what your body doesn't need, it will eliminate.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. And we were touching on earlier too, alcohols and things as well.
With
Foods and
okay. Wasn't quite ready for that session.
okay. Sorry. We'll get to that soon. Okay. Oh, the honey. Oh, great. So what kind of honey have we got here today?
Okay, so we have it's pure raw honey. That hasn't been tampered with, it hasn't been heated or anything like that. It has just come straight off the actual frame of the hive. And just been put into this container to eat. Any heating that is used with honey actually destroys the medicinal purposes of the honey. And most of your honeys that you actually buy in supermarkets, like Coles, Woolworths, IGA, Aldi, any supermarket, basically, their honey is heated. So there is probably zero amount of the actual medicinal aspects of the honey.
I think I heard stories of the honey's being sold in shops that aren't even actually honey.
Yes, I've heard that as well. They're actually making artificial honey and selling it, which is very scary.
Yeah, passing it off as well. And so even when you make a cup of tea, like you said, with the eating, when you make a cup of tea and you're putting hot water in, it's not the ideal time to go and place your honey in straight away. Would you say, or maybe if you're having milk or you're cooling little, then
you can do it that way. I actually like pour the boiling water straight in. Well, there you go. That's interesting. I never actually thought of that. So, because we're just talking about the heating of the honey.
So there's little things in the day that we,
there you go.
And then this other honey we haven't touched on yet, have we?
This one here is Manuka honey. This one here is sourced in Australia. This is actually the true grade medicinal honey. This one is a grade of 22. You can actually get one higher, and that's at 32. This type of honey is, it is tested. And what this company actually does is they go around to all different honey beekeepers, and sometimes actual honey beekeepers will come to them and bring their source of honey to be tested by them, just to see whether they actually make the grade of the true medicinal honey. And so this can be used on grazes, cuts, abrasions, ulcers, boils. I've heard people use it on great big ulcers, and within a short period of time they heal up very quickly. I've heard people use these on horses as well. So you can use it on animals as well, and that will actually heal up well.
Great. And you can eat that obviously as well. Internally.
Yes, you can eat it as well. That is good. Might just keep going on.
We'll come back to me. We've got the meats and that section
coming soon.
So water.
Okay. Things for you to drink. The best things for the human body. Obviously, the purest water that you can find is the best thing for living in the body. Other than that, you've got your herbal teas. So there's a great selection of herbal teas out there now, like your green tea, and yeah, just so many others.
Yeah, and it is also very important to source our teas ethically as well.
Yes.
Very important. You know, if a person's a tea drinker, they seem to drink competitive teas.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a lot of fluid we bring into our body, so it is important to source whatever teas. You know, make sure we're getting good quality.
Yeah.
And not old, they've been sitting on shelves for a long time as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I know that this next subject is a bit touchy for most humans. That's the subject of alcohol and spirituality. Alcohol and spirituality don't mix. So basically what actually happens is people that tend to drink on a regular basis, like alcohol affects their liver, it affects their kidney, and not only affects that, it actually affects their mind and their mindsets and how they think as a person as well. It becomes confusing for the mind. Alcohol does, it confuses the mind. Yeah, besides, like the next day, most people don't feel very good after they've had too many. So, it's not good for the body. Yeah, so if you do drink alcohol and you want to continue on your spiritual path, I suggest, weaning is always a really, really good option. Like if you're having 2 or 3 a day, well then, within the next year, wind it back to 1 a day or something like that, and then, eventually wean yourself totally off of it. Like that's an option there for you. Or, you might not wish to finish alcohol at all. So you want to deal with it, and how deep you want to go on the spiritual journey too, because it will affect as how deep you actually want to go on your journey. I just know myself and my own body as to how I feel. Like I haven't drunk any alcohol for about 9.5 years now. I haven't touched 1 drop. I know how my body feels for it. There's a certain feeling, and you'll only understand it if you experience it yourself. Basically, So again, that's totally up to you whether you want to drink or not, and how deep you want to go on the spiritual journey. Right?
Yeah. I found other times, like yourself, long periods of time where you don't drink any alcohol, and sometimes you do. This is my story. Anyway, sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. I may have drunk a lot in the past, but I found now I can really feel the effects on my body as I get older as well. I'm used to alcohol in many ways. yeah, so it's not something I would miss. But it wasn't the thought of I needed to give up alcohol or not drink any alcohol to go on my spiritual journey. It was the actual physical effects on my body, being ill or having only 1 glass of wine and not feeling very good. Yeah, so yes, but different strokes for different folks. Some people will also believe that there's benefits to drinking red wine and things like that, but for heart. But yeah. I'm not too sure about that.
What I was thinking of before we went on to the honey thing was sugar. I wanted to cover
the sugar.
the sugar
So sugar could
aspect.
be just as more damaging than alcohol.
Well,
You
how
know,
to
they're
say?
both
Well, they're
right.
both bad.
Yeah,
They're both bad. Sugar
very
has,
addictive.
yeah, and it's overtaken a lot of people's diets. Actually, sugar has. It's in most things that you buy in the supermarket now today.
Yeah.
Sugar.
And sometimes it can be you don't realise, do you? Like it's you think you're buying the healthy options, but it's being snuck in there somehow, you know, and quite high amounts of it too. Yeah. So reading labels, learning how to read labels and things like that are really quite important, aren't they?
Yeah. And that's the reason why we were talking about the honey in the first place, is because that there is what you would substitute instead of having sugar. So, you know, if you're into your herbal teas and that kind of thing, or even if you're into black teas, instead of putting in sugar, just put in a little bit of raw honey instead.
Sweetener.
Yeah, give me the sweetener. And with your home cooking and that kind of thing, if sugar's required, there's other sweeteners that you can use, like maple syrup, there's honey, there's rice malt syrup as well. That's really quite nice. It's made out of brown rice.
What about actual sugar cane juice when it's not in processed as much?
Well, that's actually quite healthy, I think.
Yeah.
So, because it's actually when it's in that refined white sugar form, and also like the brown sugars, your caster sugars, icing sugar.
So many different types of sugars.
Even your raw sugar, all of them are to be avoided. Also, particularly for those that actually have cancer, I would actually suggest that you take out sugar out of your diet completely, because sugar actually feeds cancer. So,
you don't want to be contributing unnecessarily to that environment within the system. You want to change it more into the alkaline again, isn't it? Because the sugar seems to make a really acidic environment. Is that right in our body? We were referring to our pH levels in our soils and that earlier. In a sense, our bodies are the same as well. We can't have a too acidic environment, otherwise we can allow those things to foster and grow, or on the same token we can't have a massively alkaline system as well. So we have to find that happy medium. That pH level for humans is about the same level as plants, isn't it?
Is it? I'm actually not 100% sure, actually, on the pH for humans, like to be at their optimal.
Yes.
That'd be something to research.
And our waters as well. We were talking about water, having our earlier, alkaline water as well. Great. And what do you think we might be covering next, Lesley?
We haven't gone over meats yet.
So that's still wanting to share with us some information we've discovered from your experiences about the meats.
Please share those with us now. Okay. Well, basically how I understand is like so the basic meats are, cow, which is your beef, you got lamb, there's pork from pigs, you've got chicken as well. Okay, so how those animals are culled, you see, what actually happens is the animal is actually in fear before they are killed, to go through the process of us being able to have meat. That fear goes into the meat, and it's actually trapped in the meat. They actually can't get that fear out of the meat. And so basically, when it comes to people actually eating that meat, that fear goes into your body as well. And for those that predominantly eat meat, like they might eat, say, beef every night of the week, they actually turn into angry people because of that fear from the animal, and it sits into the digestive system for such a long period of time. Now, I want to go over the digestive system too, because that is actually really, really important in this section as well. Yeah, so what is suggested if you are a meat eater? Like, you better not be a meat eater. You better just eat what you veg and that kind of thing. But for those that do enjoy their meat, you see the digestive system. One sitting of pork, so one meal of pork. So say you might have pork once a week. That will take 1 week for that meal to digest through your body. So if you love pork and you eat pork 3 times a week, that's overloading your digestive system, because only one sitting of pork for that whole week, for that body
Can be kind of filtered through.
can be filtered through your body at that time. Okay, so that's pork. Now with red meats, okay, one sitting, one meal portion of red meat takes 3 days for your digestive system to digest. And that, so if you're eating large amounts of red meat, say once every night of the week, your digestive system is just going to be going, this is just too much. Like, it goes into breakdown mode after a few years. It just can't handle it. It's just working too hard. It's working too hard.
And then it's causing more stress on the body.
Yeah, absolutely.
The stress.
Yeah, and then the body's not feel it won't be able to feel itself after a period of time. Yeah, so okay. Now I'd suggest for those that do like their meat, for those that like their red meat, I'd probably suggest maybe 2 times a week to eat red meat. I suggest to eat pork once a week if you enjoy pork. Chicken, you can actually eat chicken every day of the week. It only takes 1 day to digest. Fish is another one that only takes 1 day to digest as well. So you can have fish every day of the week. That's fine.
And sourcing those fish and the meats ethically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because farmers feed their animals, different things. Like, it's on how that beef is.
Yeah, well, it's going to hold the vibration. Everything's going through. Yeah, just as we do, just as crystals do, plants do. Yeah, it's a natural part of the cycle.
For those that don't like eating fish, this is why I've got the chia seeds up here. Chia seed is a great source of omega-3, omega-6 and omega-9. You can actually sprinkle your chia seed on your porridge every morning or your cereal every morning. You only need a tablespoon of it each day. And that will give you the daily source of those omegas. You see, fish is actually really important for the diet because the omega-3, 6 and 9, what that actually does is it lubricates your joints. All your joints in your body, they need to be lubricated because otherwise you're going to end up with arthritis, osteoarthritis, could even end up with rheumatoid arthritis. All those joint issues unless they're lubricated. So it's very important to eat omega-3, 6s and 9s.
And the aromatic fish is very important for our thyroid and our memory and brain function. The real science behind it all. It's almost at times it can be just so overwhelming. That's my experience.
And like, just while I'm thinking about it too, is with porridge, how I was talking about porridge before too, how that is very good for the human body, especially when it's cooked for a long time, kind of thing. A lot of people tend to eat muesli, unless muesli is actually put into water the night before, so it can start breaking down and that kind of thing.
The fluid.
Yeah, and then eating it the next morning. But if you're going to just eat it straight out of a cereal box, your digestive system's going to be struggling every day because muesli is just so heavy in the body and it takes a long time to actually break down in the body. So that's why I suggested porridge breakfast.
And it absorbs a lot of the water as well, you know, because it's a dry, the oats is the basis, is, you know, really quite dry, and it'll take its fluid from somewhere. Yeah, and we really not needing that fluids elsewhere in our body rather than being used. Very important.
Yeah. What about, what about detoxing the body?
How important that is.
That is really important to you. Purely, it actually gives you a really good clean out of your body. I'd actually suggest saying to do that about once a year or once every 2 years to actually give yourself a proper detox. A proper detox to me is like first for about a month, you're on a specific diet and you cut out certain foods deliberately. From the diet. You have cold showers as well, so it might be a good time like to actually do your detox in the summer rather than a winter, especially on cold shower.
I would like a cold shower and winter thing and had a really, really hot shower first and then just have a brush off with cold water, but yeah, a cold invigorating, you know, you feel alive.
Again, I can only use my own experience for when I actually did my detox, and my body felt fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Even the cold showers, even though that was pretty full on. I can only go by how I felt.
That's a guide, isn't
it? So basically, during that month, I was taking off all sugars, all chocolates, most dairy products. I could only eat fruit and veg, and even out of that fruit and veg, there were certain ones I wasn't allowed to touch. I was off all meats, didn't have any meat at all. I lost weight, obviously, during the time, but I felt really, really good. Yeah, so I'd suggest that to everyone.
So there's different types of detoxing you can do.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Like this one you're talking about is a month and a specific, plan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So you can get different ones that might adjust to what you need to say.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's cool.
But even like
just eliminating those, again, the sugars and the chocolates and those kind of things would have made a massive difference to the body straight away. Rather than,
because as I was going along, you see, it happened, how to say, each week I was taking off different things. So it wasn't all at once that I was on a specific diet. There was a certain structure of that diet, and then other things just dropped off. And that's why by the end of that, I just felt really good, really, really good.
So the importance of that. Giving our system a bit of a break and at its optimum.
It's just flushing out your whole system, basically, and losing a bit of weight at the same time.
Excellent, but even if we were particularly slender or something, it's still important to detox that too.
Absolutely. Like it's not only for people that'll be on big side. It's actually
it's for eliminate the toxins.
The
build up.
Absolutely.
It doesn't take much to throw it all out, does it? Really? No. I mean, it just kind of can rip it from there. but not to get caught up in the fear of it all. Because as we learn different things, we're exposed to different information, trying different things that sit with us, that feel right. Yeah, it can be really rewarding, and as Lesley was saying, having that first-hand experience, then we can judge for ourselves whether, hey, having that feeling, it's great, or I wasn't successful in my goal, and I found little weak spots in my challenges, but next time I can work on that. So great. Right, and then so we're talking about detoxing, and we're going to go into a nice healthy discussion. Are we? Yes. See? Love that.
Naturally, your natural chocolate that contains about 70% cocoa or higher is actually really good for the human body. Another thing, if you're into ice cream, organic ice creams, would be good. With either of those, they are a little bit more expensive, but the quality is better. You pay for what you get.
Yeah, or you can make them yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorbets and, depending on what's in season and what you might have.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And it's so, I know on the website, lesleyjourneyman.com, you've got lots of different recipes on there as well, and lots of different information, a lot we've been talking about tonight too. Yeah, so that the website itself is a wealth of knowledge. So if you need to refer to anything, please have a look at that. Yeah. Did you have any other lovely desserts?
I think that was pretty much it.
You're not going to do the tin cans?
Oh, yes. Yes, okay. I actually
tasted it last week, or
I found a great recipe. It is raw vegan tin cans. I found it online, and there's no sugar in that recipe at all. I was saying that we can make our own blog actually out of it and put it onto the website, so you can actually get it on our website. Probably within the next day or two. Just check the blogs and it will be there.
But we'll run through it with us now.
Yeah, I'll just run through the recipe now, so you can judge for yourself whether you think, it might be good or not. So there's, I might as well do that whole recipe. 1¼ cup of oats, and that's got to be chopped up. 1/3 of a cup of coconut flour, 2 tablespoons of cacao powder, 1/4 of a cup of melted coconut oil, 2½ cups of rice malt syrup, pinch of salt. So that there is actually the base, the biscuit part.
So that's all pretty healthy ingredients, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Coconut flour, coconut oil.
Yeah. The actual filling that is obviously in the middle, they say 3/4 cup of cashews, soaked for about 2 hours and then drained. Or I have found you can actually use macadamia nuts if you really enjoy macadamia nuts. So you can substitute that for whatever nut.
So it's sourced locally.
3/4 of a cup of chilled coconut cream, 3/4 of a cup of melted coconut oil, 3 tablespoons of rice malt syrup. We talked about that before. It is actually brown rice. And it has sort of like a taste of a light coffee taste. It's really nice. 1 tablespoon of cacao powder and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For the actual chocolate coating, 1/2 cup of melted coconut oil, 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and 3/4 cup of cacao powder. So that obviously goes on the outside.
We all do like tin cans. Never in that packet. Good. Right. And what's some other things here that we haven't talked about as yet? some other medicinal plants that you've grown yourself.
Yeah, tell us a bit about those. Yeah, Ty and I, we grow these at home. Yeah, so we have two different types of aloe veras here. I'll come up closer so you can actually see it better. See, that one is thinner and the leaf is different to that one there. This one is a thicker variety. It still has very similar medicinal healing aspects of the other aloe vera. Aloe vera you can obviously use, the main one there is sunburn, is what you mainly use that one for. So as soon as you get the sunburn, what you need to do is, just give you a demo. So you actually just slice it through there. You cut down the center, so you actually open it up. And then you actually have that there's the jelly,
Or
the flesh inside, and then you actually just wipe that wherever like that needs to be wiped for the sunburn. Aloe vera is also great for anything to do with the skin, absolutely anything to do with the skin, as in eczema, psoriasis, dry skin, chapped lips, chicken pox, shingles. Yeah, it just provides so much relief and soothing the skin so much.
helps with healing sores and cuts and different things, doesn't it? It's quite amazing. And you can take it internally too.
Yes, you can take it internally. It is great for intestinal worms.
Okay.
For treating intestinal worms. It's also great as a detox. You can use that in the detox as well. So what you do is you scoop out that flesh from the inside. You get a jar of water and you fill that jar of water. You place probably about 7 to about 10 parts of this flesh into the water. You leave that 2 days, and you do shake it up and down each day, mix it around, and then you can actually start drinking it. Probably a cup a day. You'll probably do that for a week or up to 2 weeks. And that will give you your signal as well. Good luck to you though, because it tastes terrible.
You know when you rub it on your face and you get it on your lips, and then you might lick your lips over. Oh. I know it's good for me, but it tastes horrible.
Yeah. And it actually leaves like little stains too. Like this has been sitting on this absorbent paper for a period of maybe about a couple of hours now since I last cut it, and see how it has gone. Yeah, so it'll actually affect your clothing too if that actually gets on your clothing. So yeah, make sure that it's actually dried on the skin properly before you put clothing on it. Mindful of that.
What else have we got there?
Yes, okay. So the next one is turmeric here.
Turmeric. We're hearing a lot about that in social media, and there's been a lot of attention on turmeric lately.
Yeah, there has been. Turmeric is actually famous for preventing cancer as well as treating cancer. It is fabulous. It's very, very good to use. You can actually use this in your cooking as flavouring for the things that you eat. Yeah, so you can grate it up and just use it in your cooking. Or another thing that you can use it in is just grate up a section and put it into a cup with boiling hot water. Just leave that sit for about 5 minutes until it's cooler. You can add a little bit of honey to it and just drink it. Just drink it straight. Yeah, fabulous for the body.
It's relatively easy to grow, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It grows really well here in Australia. It originated from India, the actual plant, and once upon a time, very, very long time ago, Australia was actually, that's probably why it grows so well here too. So this section here, these little fingers, can be broken off, and that can be your growing material. That needs to be planted in September here in Australia, and then that'll be harvested in May in some time, and they'll be ready in May.
So it looks relatively like ginger. So is it a part of the ginger family?
Yes, it is part of the ginger family. Yeah. And that's it is a rhizome. Yeah. That's the technical name that they use for it. It's also really good for diabetes too, because what it actually does is helps the pancreas create more insulin, and that's so it helps with diabetic issues. Yeah.
You say recently a bit of cracked pepper with it as well can also bring out the natural, intensify the natural funds of turmeric?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it does. Yeah, kind of activates it, or you know, when we put things together to help raise the benefits.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Turmeric is also been used for a clothing dye as well.
As an actual dye.
Yeah, the colour of, because it's orange colour. Yeah. And it can also be used for arts and crafts as well. Yeah, paintings, I think.
Oh, awesome. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Right. And we've got a couple of other links there too.
Yes, I do. This one here.
Quite distinct, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's neem. That one's the neem tree leaf. And again, that one actually originated from India. And so again, that one grows really great here in Australia as well. Now, neem is fantastic as it keeps away insects. So you can actually eat a leaf of this every day, and what will actually happen is it will change the flavour of your blood. And so by changing the flavour of your blood, mosquitoes will leave you alone, midges will leave you alone, head lice, they won't be an issue anymore at all, because they hate the taste of the blood, basically, because the blood will change by eating it. Another great thing that this is for is intestinal worms. It'll give you a good clean out in that way as well. You can eat a leaf of this every day, or another option that you have is you can actually make a tea out of it and drink the tea once a day. Again, I'll give a leaf to Ali to try.
I'm a bit wary.
What's her face?
Shall I really try it? Yes, I can. Yeah, it's become quite pungent.
Yeah, it's very bitter.
No wonder the Aussies don't like it. It tastes quite earthy in a sense, doesn't it?
I just think it's bitter. No, I've tasted it before, believe me. Yeah, I've had teas of it and that kind of thing too, but it is actually very bitter.
Thanks, Lesley. Wash that down.
Another thing that you can actually do is you can make a spray with the leaves, and that can be your natural pest control for your veggies and your herbs and your fruits and that kind of thing. And also you can actually use it on your pets as well. They'll actually keep away fleas from the dogs and cats. You can actually even bathe your animals in the neem as well, because they'll actually clear out any mange. It'll also help with ringworm on dogs. So there's many different health benefits
as well. Like you know, throw a branch in our bark or something like that. If we have different skin
I'm not really 100% sure on that. I'd have to probably do some more research about that side of things.
Because it is quite strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you may overdo it.
Yeah, you can easily overdo that one there. Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat too much of this in one go.
Little third of that leaf, I'm still tasting.
Oh, golly.
No, it's good. It's not that awful.
The last one that I have here, here you go. That one is a lemon-scented myrtle. Its proper botanical name is Bacchausia citricola, and I won't get you to eat it this time.
No, these I hear are really, really good for you, aren't they?
Yeah. The smell, it's just beautiful. You can actually use that extract, the actual essence of this, and make cheesecake with it and other types of desserts. You can even make soap out of this as well. You can probably even make incense oils. Another thing that I have done in the past, I actually just boil up a whole heap of leaves in cast iron pots, and I use that as a natural disinfectant because that is what it's for. You can spray that along your kitchen benches. You can even spray that on your vanity units, even on your toilets. You can even use it on your toilets as well, and it gives it a great aroma. It's just beautiful.
It is. It's really that deep lemony flavour, and it grows really well again in this environment, in this particular area, doesn't it? Yeah, and I know some friends here on the coast were using lemon myrtle, and they designed some moisturising different creams for the body, and it has been really successful. A lot of great healing properties in the lemon myrtle.
Yeah, that's right. And if you've got a cold too, again, you can get some leaves, boil them up in the pot, then let that cool, and then just drink it. And it just, how to say, like, it just cleans out the sinuses and your throat. Oh, I just feel so much better.
Oh, fabulous. Great. And anything else we'd like to cover tonight? I know we covered a lot this evening. Yeah, so we'll leave this post up on the website to be able to refer that to it as well. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight's segment.
Yes, and thank you for joining us again. Apologise again for the technical issues we're having, and hence we didn't have the meditation this evening, but we will be back in full swing next week. Fingers crossed. We're going to sort this out.
Peace to you all.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.